Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I know with these sewing videos you don't see a lot of my face, but I did want to set a disclaimer because during the video there's a step where we're adding interface. Now, because I didn't know what I'm doing, obviously I added the interface at the wrong time. So before you sew all the pieces together, get the interface and iron it on there. And then you put the pieces together. Do not be like me and struggle, as you will see. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so welcome back to the regular schedule. This is the fabric I'll be using. I'm basically going to use the front and back of this to make my double-sided bucket hat. So right now I'm going to cut out the pattern pieces. If you're making a reversible hat, you're making 2 hats. So the pattern is actually down below. The link is in the description below, and you can get that for free. But you're going to need 2 top pieces, 8 side pieces, and 8 brim pieces, and I will show you what I mean when we get there. To speed up this process, you can fold your fabric to double up so you can make 2 at a time, 4 at a time, however many you're comfortable doing. And also, when you get the pattern, the pieces will be labeled top, side, and brim, so you know what pieces are what if looking at it doesn't really help you. They are labeled. So these are all the pieces that you should have. Pause for my slow readers. And now we're gonna do the side first. I've already sewn one so you can see like what exactly is going on here. So when you think about it, on the side of a bucket is basically a circle going around your head. So that's what we're going to make with the side pieces. And also, when you're sewing, be sure to sew good side to good side so when you open it, it's seamless. So now I'm just going to try it on, and it looks good. And from here is where you should adjust. If you need another panel, if you need one less panel, do what you got to do to fix it. And now we're going to put the top on. And when you're sewing the top on, it's going to be like a constant adjusting kind of situation. So just take your time. You know, you don't want to rush this process because it will alter the shape of your hat if you rush it. So now this is what we have. And the hat is still inside out, so now we can do the brim. We're gonna attach the brim and sew on the brim. So the brim is just gonna be the same as the side. We're going to sew it into a circle. So now with the brim done, we're going to attach the brim. So now with everything put together, this is what you should have. And at this time, you can go and make your second hat before we go on to the next step. So as you can see, the hat is kind of flimsy, right? And that is because I did not know I would need something called interface. Interface basically strengthens the fabric and gives it kind of a more sturdier feeling. And with a bucket hat, we definitely need sturdy. So just as we cut out the fabric with the pattern pieces, we are going to use the same pattern pieces to cut out the same amount that we need for the hat, but only enough for one hat. We're only going to interface one part of the hat. So in order to attach the interface, it has to be ironed on. And that's going to be kind of hard with it being flimsy. So I recommend you do this step before you put your hat together, as I said in the disclaimer in the beginning. So I'm just going to hold the interface onto the fabric with some pins, and I'm going to do my best to iron it. And also, as you saw on the inside of the hat, I basically just balled up a pillowcase and stuffed it in there so it can sit up while I do this. And when you're working with interface, there's a soft side and a rough side. The rough side goes down. The rough side is what you are attaching to your fabric. So once you've attached all your pieces, this is what you should have. As you can see, the interface definitely did make it more sturdy, right? So now the next step would be to attach this hat to the other hat to now make it reversible. And like always, we are sewing good side to good side. When you pin it together, this is what it should look like. I know it looks kind of weird, and yes, this is the opposite side, as you can see the seams. So we're going to sew around the entire brim in the circle and make sure you leave a hole. And this is why. Now we're going to pull the hat right side out, and all of that ugliness and interface will be on the inside, and you will have a clean, seamless brim. Now, in order to close this hole, we are going to tuck the fabric inside of the hole, pin it down, or you can iron it down. Ironing is your best bet because it's a small area to sew down. So that is how we're going to close the hole. And when we go to sew, we are going to sew in the circle around the brim, as close as you can get to the edge. And this is what you should have after that first line. And now we're going to continue doing lines on top of that. Make sure you keep them steady and equidistant so it looks good. This is what your lines should look like.